Shoujo is a demographic of manga and anime that targets young girls between the ages of 12 and 18. This is just a recommendation, as anyone could start reading shoujo at any time. However, demographics do not only mean that they are aimed at a certain sector of the population, but also that their stories have a distinctive stamp between elements and identity. Reading a rom-com shonen is not the same as reading a rom-com shoujo. However, there seem to be fewer and fewer adaptations of shoujo manga to anime. Although the demographic remains popular in manga and live-action formats, anime studios have been very selective in choosing which franchises to convert to anime. Out of dozens of new releases each season, only 1 or 2 new anime are in the shoujo demographic, which has led fans to believe that this demographic is in decline. The best time for the shoujo demographic was between 2000 and 2010. Many stories of high school romance and first crush from the perspective of a female protagonist were able to win the hearts of viewers. From Kimi and I to Dope to Say, I Love You. Both series focus on a quiet female protagonist who wants to connect with her classmates, but her introverted nature is an obstacle. They get help from the most popular boy in high school and the rest you know. The popularity of shoujo also came from the rise of reverse harems. Ouran High School Host Club is the most emblematic example of this trend, following the story of Haruai Fujioka, a girl who joins a high school host club to pay for an antique vase she accidentally broke. Although gender-bending or cross-dressing had been seen before, Ouran High School Host Club executed this theme in a clever and humorous way, leaving an impression on audiences that still lingers today. It is even said that this franchise led to many women being introduced to genres such as boys' love, BL, and yaoi for the first time, inadvertently increasing the popularity of both. But shoujo definitely entered an era of decline. The demographics could not be adequately updated, featuring the same stories over and over again. The shoujo romance plots became repetitive to the point of exhaustion. 2 people meet, fall in love, confess, and finally become a couple. This is completely different from shonen romance, which survived by incorporating other subgenres to captivate the audience. With these combinations, romantic comedies were able to survive within the shonen demographic, so studios began to produce more anime adaptations for this demographic for the simple fact that there are more opportunities for success. Studios are primarily looking to make a profit, and they certainly won't produce a manga adaptation if it doesn't have a solid fan base. Also, we can't ignore the fact that women themselves no longer think the same way they did 20 years ago. Male protagonists in shoujo series are assertive and outgoing, and adopt the role of the Prince Charming who saves the female protagonist. Nowadays, there is talk of women's empowerment, so women want to get rid of traditional gender stereotypes, and shoujo failed to adapt to these changes in time. Or so many thought. Certainly, shoujo has adapted to the new perspectives and interests of modern young women. There are more and more series starring brave women motivated by their own success. Akagami no Shirayuki Hime, Snow White with the Red Hair, and Akatsuki no Yona, Yona of the Dawn, are 2 clear examples of independent and strong female protagonists, allowing modern young women to identify with them. The rise of Isekai also ended up hitting the shoujo demographic like a meteorite. Studios began adapting many light novels with this theme, especially where a young girl is reincarnated in another world and must learn to survive and create a new life for herself. This combination of shoujo and isekai led to the creation of a new subgenre, reincarnated female villains. Did it seem like a coincidence that we see these adaptations one after another every season? So, if you think the shoujo demographic is in decline, you're actually stuck in the 2000s. Today, shoujo no longer focuses only on serious romance, but has evolved to take a new take on the romantic love story formula. It's not that shoujo is in a dark age, but rather that it has evolved to adapt to recent times. In fact, you'd be surprised how many popular series of recent years are, in fact, of shoujo demographics.